Welcome back to the Swammpcast. Once again, I'm Bullfrog, continuing my commitment to bringing you the latest in absolutely meaningless bullshit. So, I've got an article here from dangerous.com. That's Milo Yiannopoulos' website. Now, I'm sure you've all heard of this kid. He goes by Desmond is Amazing. I'm not saying he's amazing, that's the name he goes by. He's a 10-year-old drag kid. Now, one thing is, if a kid wants to dress in drag and have fun at home, in the privacy of his own house or whatever, that's whatever, fine. Okay, now this kid's being paraded around on TV, all over the internet, and just for all these perverts to goggle at. Now, this pissed me the fuck off. Now, this article here on dangerous.com is about says here 10-year-old boy dances on stage for money at adult gay bar in New York. Right there. Can you tell me what's wrong with this picture? The fact that it's a 10 fucking year old kid. The fuck is wrong with these goddamn people? And no, fuck this shit. Yeah, this pisses me off. 10-year-old fucking little boy is dancing around on fucking stage, dressed in drag, and fucking grown men throwing money at him. How the fuck is this goddamn acceptable? The fucking parents are actually letting him do this. This kid needs to be taken away from his parents. I don't give a fuck what anybody says about my opinion about that. That kid needs to be taken away from his parents, because if they're letting him do this kind of shit. This is fucking disgusting. It's bullshit. Alright, I'm gonna call him out in a minute here. I'm gonna read a little bit of this. Drag kid Desmond is Amazing delivered a headlining performance at a sleazy Brooklyn, New York gay bar on December 1st, where the 10-year-old boy danced on stage in a crop top and full face of makeup as a throng of adult men in the audience showered him with dollar bills. This is just, this is bullshit. Now, this is what the left is fighting for. This is what they call progressive and being woke, being accepting and whatever, though, right? I don't give a shit if somebody who's at least 18 wants to dress in drag and dance on stage for money. Okay, fine, if you're an adult. This kid is 10 years old. 10. It's a fucking little boy. There's no reason some little boy needs to be fucking doing this bullshit. And fucking men are throwing money at this kid. They're a bunch of fucking perverts. And, yeah. You can go ahead and call me a bigot for not being supportive of this kind of garbage. I don't really give a shit. I don't give a fuck about being politically correct. The fucking leftist progressive agenda has gone too goddamn far when we're fucking having this kind of shit going on. When I was a kid, this would never fly. When I was a kid, people, if this kind of shit was going on, those parents would probably be in jail and this kid would be put in foster home. But now, though, because everybody needs to be politically correct, you gotta be all woke and progressive and shit. They're going to the point where they're letting this 10-year-old little boy parade around for a bunch of perverts. The fuck this shit. This needs to fucking stop. If this doesn't fucking piss you off, I'm not sorry to say there's something fucking wrong with you. A group of migrants currently camped out in Tijuana, Mexico, are demanding the United States government pay them $50,000 each, or let them into the country. So I got an article from the Washington Times here. It says migrant group demands U.S. pay them $50,000 each to turn back. A group of about 100 Central American migrants currently camped out in Tijuana, Mexico, have reportedly sent a letter to the U.S. government demanding entry or $50,000 each to go back to their home countries. The group, organized by Alfonso Guerrero, I don't know how to pronounce that last name, of Honduras, marched to the U.S. consulate in Tijuana on Tuesday morning to present a letter of demands. It may seem like a lot of money to you, Mr. Whatever said of the proposed $50,000 payout, but it's a small sum compared to everything the United States has stolen from Honduras. So, I don't know what the hell he's talking about there. Actually, I went and looked up what has the United States taken from Honduras on Google, because I didn't know what he was talking about, and I wanted to see if there's any truth to what he was saying. There has, and I couldn't find anything about it. Though I found an article on Wikipedia about United States and Honduras relations and different things about that, but I didn't see anything about what United States has actually taken from Honduras, so I don't know if that's true or not. But however, the United States doesn't owe anything to these migrants. They're not entitled to come into the United States just because life sucks in their home country. Another group of migrants are demanding that the United States speed up its asylum process. It says here in the article, a second group of about 50 migrants also petitioned the government on Tuesday, demanding that the U.S. speed up the asylum process, which currently admits between 40 and 100 asylum seekers every day. In the meantime, Families, women, and children who have fled our countries continue to suffer, and the civil society of Tijuana continue to be forced to confront this humanitarian crisis. A refugee crisis caused in great part by decades of U.S. intervention in Central America. Mexican immigration officials in Tijuana met with representatives from the second group organized by the nonprofit Pueblos Sin Fronteras on Tuesday. You can see that this is definitely an emotional argument, though, saying families, women, and children were suffering in this, we're calling this a refugee crisis. They're economic migrants. They're not refugees. There's a big difference, and I know people like to mix the two together, and that's not the case here. People are not entitled to U.S. citizenship. They're not entitled to just be let into the country just because where they come from sucks. Now, if you want to come to the United States, there is a process that you have to go through. You need to be an asset to the country. You need to be able to contribute something. We already have enough people here who are just living off the government, living off the taxpayers' dollars, abusing the welfare system. We already got people out living on the streets. We have enough problems of our own already as it is. Now, some of these people are planning to come here to work and contribute. Well, you gotta go through the process, though. You're not just gonna let you come walk on in willy nilly. You can really see this sense of entitlement, this belief that the United States owes them something for whatever reason. Apparently, the United States it's the United States' fault that their lives in their countries suck or whatever. The U.S. once again, the U.S. does not owe anybody a damn thing. I sure shit don't owe anybody anything. I'm a net taxpayer, and I don't want my taxpayer dollars going towards some handouts for people who don't even live here. These people are not in any real position to be making these kind of demands. This is just ridiculous, and quite honestly, it actually quite angers me. So I was watching this documentary on VH1 about grunge music, and this really took me back to the good old early 90s when I was a kid. And when I first heard this grunge music, though, especially like Nirvana and Soundgarden, Nirvana's my favorite grunge band, though. This is that gritty guitar work, those angry lyrics, though, and it really spoke to the outcasts of Generation X and let us know that somebody understood our angst and let us know that we weren't alone. Man, I was all into grunge. I wore the tore up jeans and freaking boots and freaking flannel shirts. Flannel shirts was a big, huge thing there too. The reason why flannel shirts were such a trend among the grunge, because it came from the Seattle area around there, and around in that area, the lumberjacking or freaking whatever, was a big industry there, though. So a lot of lumberjacks need to wear flannel shirts, and a lot of people around there just tend to wear flannel shirts as well, I guess. And so with grunge music, came the trend of everyone wearing, these plaid flannel shirts and everything, and I dressed like that. I had freaking hair, freaking all down on my face. Some people even looked like inside, I kind of looked like Kurt Cobain, because I had my hair on my face and everything, and I had hair a lot like his. A lot of people think of grunge as being mostly early '90s thing, but grunge actually started in the early '80s. And it was around the early 90s when a lot of these grunge bands started to make it big and became a big national thing around then. It had actually been around since the early 80s. A lot of it was really inspired by punk rock. It was very anti-corporate rock, anti-corporate pop, all that shit, anti-mainstream, which ironically actually ended up becoming mainstream. And a lot of grunge bands, they end up kind of going more mainstream, alternative after a while too. In 1994, though, I think is the day that Kurt Cobain died. Now, I personally don't believe that he actually killed himself. I'm not going to get into the whole conspiracy or anything right now, but I don't believe it was actually a suicide. However, the day that he died, I believe grunge died with him, though. I remember that day, too, when I went over to my friend's place, and right when I walked in the door, he was like, so did you hear Kurt Cobain shot himself today? I couldn't even process it. I just didn't, it didn't even process in my head, though, and I sat down on the couch, and they were watching MTV, and they were talking about, it was true, Kurt Cobain was dead. This was almost 25 years ago now, and you don't really hear much about grunge music these days, though. But to me, that's one of my favorite genres of music, though. That was something that really spoke to me and spoke to a lot of us outcasts and rejects. And grunge music was the kind of music that let us know that somebody understood our angst. So yeah, when I watched this documentary last week, though, I was watching this documentary. It got me thinking a lot about grunge music and They featured a lot of bands on there that I hadn't even heard in a long time, hadn't thought much of in a long time either. Yeah, you really got me thinking about it, and I just want to do a little segment on Swammpcast, just talking about grunge music. If you don't know much about grunge, though, you guys should look up some grunge bands, like Mudhoney, Mother Love Bone, Nirvana, of course. There's old school Soundgarden, the newer Soundgarden from like more in the mid '90s or so that they kind of went mainstream alternative. Pearl Jam's kind of considered part of the grunge scene, but they never really sound like grunge to me. There was Alice in Chains, they came out with the grunge scene, but they're actually a heavy metal band. They're not really a grunge band, but I do love Alice in Chains though too. But yeah, I would definitely recommend you check out some of those old school grunge bands. Melvins, Tad, stuff like that too, though. So I want to throw out that recommendation out there. I think a lot of people really know much about grunge anymore these days, though. But that was one of my favorite things, though. When I was a kid, though, I just always loved grunge music. So lately, I've been watching a lot of TikTok memes and TikTok cringe and whatnot on YouTube, and so I decided I wanted to download the app and check it out for myself. And something I noticed, there are some seriously fucking amazingly hot chicks on this app. You probably already seen the video I put up, the compilation of TikTok hotties. I see a lot of TikTok cringe, TikTok memes kind of compilations on tonight. So I wanted to put together like a little compilation of TikTok hotties, though. So that video actually got a lot of views pretty fast too. That actually less than a day, I got 13 views already. Last time I checked, the Swammpcast, it takes like an entire week to get maybe 8 views. So I think maybe doing these TikTok hotties compilations might help bring more people to my channel, and maybe they'll stick around for the Swammpcast. You can go ahead and call me thirsty or whatever. I don't give a rat's ass. I'm a straight man. I like hot women. So I have a favorite one. This chick goes by G Baby, and her handle is at BabyBean98. I'll leave her handle in the description. I just wanted to give her a shout out and suggest you guys go check her out, because it's like ridiculous how freaking gorgeous this chick is. I'm not like super into TikTok or whatnot, but I just like checking out all the hot chicks on there. So the other day I did this rant video talking about all this money I've been wasting on audio equipment trying to get a decent sound for the Swammpcast, and it seemed to turn out to be junk. It wouldn't work right and whatnot. And so later on, after I uploaded that video, I decided to dig out this old PC mic that I've had for like 6 years. Somebody gave it to me for free like a long time ago, and I decided I didn't really want to use this for Swammpcast at first, because I wanted to go get a nice fancy mic and everything. However, these microphones and preamp thing that I got as well, though, it just didn't really work right or anything. I was getting really pissed off, wondering why hell shit just wouldn't work right, and so I decided to finally just dig this up, see if this would work at all, and actually it turns out it works pretty damn well. Works way better than all these other microphones and audio equipment I've been spending all this money on. So I'm just gonna go ahead and stick with this now. So this whole time I've had a perfectly good microphone that I could have used. So I basically wasted about $200 on audio equipment. But I'm gonna probably go back to doing it in plasma again, and I can make that money right back in about a month or so. So we all make mistakes. We all do stupid things sometimes, and we gotta learn from it. So oh well. So it's not really a big deal. I'm not gonna let that rule me or anything. So I'm glad I do have a decent mic now that I can get some decent sound with, though. It definitely does my sexy manly voice a lot of justice now, so I'm definitely glad for that. Alright, now as always, we gotta have a few jokes. I feel sorry for the hypnotist I saw last night. He hypnotized 7 guys, then dropped the mic on his phone and yelled, "Fuck me!" What happened next? Well, will haunt me for the rest of my life. I just bought some condoms when the cashier asked, "Do you need a bag?" I said, "No, she isn't that ugly." What do gender and the Twin Towers have in common? There used to be 2 of them, but now people get offended when you joke about them. When 3 people have sex, it's called a threesome. When 2 people have sex, it's called a twosome. Now, you understand why they call me handsome. A woman goes out shopping with her husband and spots a pair of boots she loves. Her husband says, "No chance, love. They're way too expensive." Later that night in bed, her husband tries his luck and slips his hand gently between her thighs, and, well, the wife turns to him and says, "I don't think so, honey. If you're not prepared to shoe the horse, you sure as hell ain't gonna ride it." That'll do it for the Swammpcast for this week. I'll have another TikTok hotties compilation probably coming up in a couple days. It's already put together. It's all done with the upload, so I'll be uploading that in a couple days. So, guys, go ahead and get your tissues and lotion all ready for that. So, I'm Bullfrog. Thanks for tuning in.